Hello, my name is Eric Wilkes, and I'm one of the Associate Youth Ministers here at Prince of Peace. I had to offer an apology when my aunt realized that I essentially called her and everyone else a donkey in one of my previous videos for Palm Sunday. And for that, I apologize to you as well. However, it's totally cool when Jesus calls everyone sheep in this Sunday's gospel. He is Jesus, so I guess that makes sense. He does know more than me, so. But shouldn't we be offended though? Isn't calling us sheep a bad thing? Aren't sheep mindless creatures that are simple and gullible? Actually, no. According to one BBC article, there was a 2001 study which found that sheep can recognize and remember 50 different faces for more than 2 years, which admittedly is better than I can do at most parties that I go to. But this article goes on to tout how smart, strong, and relational sheep actually are. So the mindless sheep stereotype is much less true than the sheepish grin metaphor, which is totally true. They have perfected the soft smile, and that was concluded on a 2020 study done by me today on Google. It's adorable, and if you haven't Googled sheep smiling, you're missing out on life. It's amazing. But I digress. But the fact that sheep are able to remember faces for so long makes me think that Jesus wanted to focus less on undermining us and more on telling us that he wants us to have this same relational ability that sheep do. Listen to how he describes this relationship in John 10:3-4 between the gatekeeper and the sheep. The gatekeeper opens it for him, and the sheep hear his voice as the shepherd calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. He walks ahead of them, and the sheep follow him because they recognize his voice. He doesn't say that the sheep follow him because they're stupid and gullible and they do anything he tells them. He says the sheep follow him because they recognize his voice. This is a clear description of the kind of relationship Jesus wants with us. He wants us to recognize one another. He wants us to recognize his voice when he calls. And I will say having this relationship can be scary. 2 years ago, I heard God calling me to Prince of Peace, and I was admittedly terrified of all of the unknowns ahead, and there were a lot. But that was because I had no idea the immense blessing he'd have in store for me through the staff, the parishioners, the youth, and the community here. And because I listened to this call, this distant place I barely knew, Plano, Texas, became a new home with many wonderful new memories and a new family. Recently in prayer, I heard God call me back to Louisiana to continue the season of engagement with my fiance, Corey, to grow more fully into the man God's calling me to be and to spend time with family there. And now I'm saying yes to him. I'm following him because I know his voice and I trust him. And despite there being, once again, so many unknowns ahead and many loved ones that will be greatly missed as I go, I trust him even though it's difficult. But in today's gospel, it definitively lands on words of hope for us when we face difficulty, transition, and doubt in what God has ahead for us. In this next verse, which is one of my favorites, Jesus speaks to us and reminds us of why he came, why we follow, and why we strive to move ahead where he leads. He says this, "A thief comes only to steal and slaughter and destroy. I came so that they might have life and have it more abundantly." John 10:10. You see, Jesus wants you and me to have life and to have it more abundantly. This is what he wants. He wants what's best for us. And so as I part from you, brothers and sisters, I leave you with 3 encouragements. The first, spend time with the shepherd so that you know his voice and remember his face when he calls you. 2, trust him enough to follow where he leads, even if it's unfamiliar. And 3, above all, take him up on his offer to not simply have life, but have it more abundantly. In 15 years of music ministry, a decade of traveling ministry, 3 different countries, 40 different states, countless friendships, memories, and adventures. I can tell you that when a shy kid from a small town in Louisiana said yes, God more than held up his end of the bargain on that, and then some. And he wants that for all of us. He wants that for you. So let's recommit to keep saying yes when God calls us, to spending time with him and recognizing his voice. To the amazing priests, Father Tom and Father Stephen, to the staff here at Prince of Peace, to the parish community, I can't thank you enough for letting me be your youth minister and your friend and your brother in Christ. Please know my prayers and gratitude for all of you. And I look forward to the day that I get to come back for a visit. And until then, I take comfort in knowing that we are united in Christ. So thank you again. God bless you, and stay close to the shepherd.